More records, I hear you ask? Will this ever end? I don't know. So part 2 of my record collection, and I've been reunited with some of them that were at my parents' place, which is amazing. And I've laid them out much more easily this time. So this could go swimmingly, who knows? So let's start with the rest of my Carly Rae Jepsen records, because as previously mentioned, I am weirdly obsessed with the woman. It's not healthy, but we're here now. I mentioned Emotion in my last video. I also have Emotion side B. And if you didn't know, since Emotion, she has a tendency to release a B-sides album. And by the time Emotion came out, it had its cult following. But then she released this and it had even more amazing songs, which is great. It's actually got my 2 favourite Carly Rae Jepsen songs, which is the highest of compliments. Fever and Roses. Give those 2 a listen if you want to get into some Carly, because I have absolute faith in the woman. And then we have Dedicated. So this is her last full-length album. This is quite hard to find one, actually, because it's the Urban Outfitters USA purple version. Look at that. Oh, delicious. I really like the song Too Much because I feel like it describes me too. Even though she doesn't seem to kind of run too deep with the lyrics, I do find that I really relate to her and her like point of view. She's really good at getting her point across in a really simple way, which I think is what good pop music does. And then on the flip side, which might come as a huge surprise, Dedicated side B. This came out last year, 1 year after Dedicated came out. There is a song on here called Comeback featuring Bleachers, so Jack Antonoff, and it's essentially a Bleachers song, and it is so good. No idea why it didn't make the original Dedicated. And this one is cool because it's blue. I put the effort into collecting the cool ones for Carly. She deserves the best. So I don't know whether these 2 are as good as Emotion and Emotion side B, but they are a bit more mature. If Emotion type music is a bit too much for you, a bit too sickly for you, you might want to give Dedicated a try, a bit more subdued. It's still kind of the 80s pop inside stuff, but it's a lot less saturated and there's a lot more room to breathe. Fun. Moving on, Haim, Something to Tell You, their second album. I do prefer the first one, but this was actually given to me as a gift. My friend had a spare, because from what I remember, she got this at the record store, and it turned out she already had it. But that was so kind, I'm so touched, and it was so nice of her to just give me the spare and not sell it, so thank you. This is a good album to have on, but in terms of like good Haim songs, Want You Back and Little of Your Love, God tier. God tier. I also went to see this tour at Alexandra Palace. That whole day is a story in itself, but they were supported by Maggie Rogers, and also they put on a great show. It was really energetic. It's exactly what you'd expect. It was so good. Okay, so we've had Carly, we've had Haim. If you haven't heard of them yet, I'm going to introduce you to a band called The Aces. They are the midpoint between Carly Rae Jepsen and Haim. They've got the pop inspired music, and then they have these like heavy bass lines, bandy stuff, to use a technical term. So if you like those 2 artists, or you like a bit of those 2 artists, I think you'll really like this band. I would recommend Bad Love, and I would also recommend Last One. If you want those like pounding choruses, or if you just want a good female band. This is such a solid album, like top to bottom. It's called When My Heart Felt Volcanic, and I found this album when my heart did in fact feel volcanic, and obviously I'm fine now, but it's nice to have that to look back on, because I just remember like walking down the street, putting this in and going, yeah, you tell them. It's a really good album. I wouldn't say it's like a bitter breakup album or anything like that. I think it's just about feeling a lot. And when you're that age, like early 20s, you feel a lot, don't you? And this is a cool colour as well. It's a splatter vinyl. I'm only gonna get one out though. Oh, you can't even see. So it's like a pink and blue splatter. So one's pink, one's blue. Like, I didn't think I'd like splatter, but then when you play it on the turntable, it looks awesome. Pop-ish, indie-ish, band-ish territory still. A couple of Bastille mixtapes I forgot to show you. Both Record Store Day releases. So if you don't know much about Bastille, between albums, they tend to release mixtapes, and they're called Other People's Heartache, and they're mainly covers with a couple of like new songs. And they've released a couple of them for Record Store Day. So this was 2019, I believe. So this is Other People's Heartache Part 4 in horrible picture disc packaging. I got this off eBay for not much, 30 quid. It is signed. I don't know if it's I'm gonna believe that it's actually signed. I don't know why they would have got it signed. I met them when I was a teenager, so this wasn't really the reason I bought this. I just wanted the record, and this was the best price I could find it for. And funnily enough, this is one of the best sounding records I own, if not the best sounding record I own. Really strange. It just sounds really clear and it just sounds really clean, and I don't know whether it just works well with my record player, because it's really hard to store as well, and I fear it warping. But yeah, if you like this mixtape, it is on like Spotify and Apple and stuff, so give it a listen. If you like this, see if you get the record, because it's really, I can't explain it. I was just shocked, you know, I was shocked. And on these mixtapes, they tend to collaborate with people more. So on this one, they work with Craig David, Seb. They've got a song called Grip, which is really good. Loads of Bastille fans hate the song Grip, and I don't know why. So that's one. And then this Record Store Day, they released Other People's Heartache Part 3 verses. So this was a bit different because this was all original songs. They work with some really good people on here. Let me get the picture disc out and I'll read a couple. Look at this. That's awesome, isn't it? So like TV themed-ish. So just to name like a few of the people, they work with Haim, MNEK, Lizzo is on here. Lizzo's on here, she's got a whole song. Angel Hayes is on here, Rag and Bone Man is on here. This came out in like 2014, so they were ahead of the curve. Like, this is amazing. I definitely recommend the Haim song. I think without a doubt it's the best one on here. But moving on, a couple of Oh Wonder records. If you don't know Oh Wonder, male, female, I believe they're married now. They make music together. This is their last album, No One Else Can Wear Your Crown, which I like. It's a really nice album. They're a really good band to just have on the background, which I think is a good criteria for vinyl. This is a bit more electronic for them. I wouldn't have bought this off my own back, but I saw it in a store for £8 and I thought I can't really pass that up. And I've listened to it a good few times already, so says it all. So that was the last album. We kind of like skirted over that because their first album, and I think this is pretty hard to find, is incredible. Like, I don't have enough cliches to give you. Magic, lightning in a bottle, magic. That's the only way I can describe this album. And 10 out of 10. You know those albums that you have, not necessarily your favourite albums, but you know that's as damn near perfect as it could have been. This is one of them. I used to fall asleep to it. It's really good to listen to on the train. It's good to have on the background. It's good to sit and think with. So when they first started releasing music, I believe they released a single every month, and then it led to this album. Amazing. And the thing about this is it's such a cohesive body of work. If I could describe this album in one word, it would be sparkly. All the music is very sparkly. So if you don't know Oh Wonder, give them a listen and message me and let me know if you think they're sparkly. So Anthony and Josephine, who make up Oh Wonder, they both sing, they both play instruments. But what makes them and this album in particular really special is that every song on here is sung in harmony. So they're piano-based songs, generally, sparkly piano-based songs. And some songs, the entire song is both of them singing the whole time. Or sometimes you'll get a song where it's both of them singing, and then it would, again, I don't know the technical terms, someone will. It will be both of them singing. Anthony will be like veering off in the background for just the final chorus. There's a song on here called Drive. I can't imagine anyone listening to Drive and saying that's not a great song. And on top of all that, I was so lucky. I went to see them on tour and it was like this album, and I think they played every song apart from one. I was front row, so I forced my poor sister to queue, and I was just there sobbing the whole way. One of the best gigs I've ever been to. It was like an out-of-body experience, and because it was their first album, and it was a tour of their first album, it's one of those things that could never be replicated. It was just, and they have a light show. Oh, it was so good. We're back onto pop. Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia. I don't have a lot to say about this. It's just really good, isn't it? You did good, Dua, you did good. What I will say is I like anything influenced by Jamiroquai, so I appreciate it. Which reminds me, actually, I also have Songs About Jane by Maroon 5. Just you know how I am with terrible segues by now. This is a great album that I would recommend to everyone, and I think everyone loves. Whenever I mention this album just in passing, people always have the same reaction, and it's, Just because it's a good album, it's a good album. And people always go, oh wait, that's the one with She Will Be Loved on it. Oh, and This Love. Oh, and Sunday Morning. Like, it's all so good. Again, Maroon 5, you can have your opinion on the rest of their career. Again, that's a whole other thing. But this, damn near perfect. Starboy by The Weeknd, a very talented dude. I've liked him since After Hours. We used to listen to that album a lot in uni. Memories. And as we know, I am obsessed with Daft Punk. So of course, Starboy, I Feel It Coming, two of my favourite songs. I think I Feel It Coming just one of my favourite songs in general. So it's a very good place on this album. And this is cool. This is a cool colour. Let me show you. Oh, it's like translucent red. Only issue is there's like it's not even a scratch, it's like a tear. So I think the Lana Del Rey song skips a bit. It doesn't even skip, it just gives up. It just goes round and round, comes back again, round. It's actually, I feel sad thinking about it, but I don't know, it's fine, it happens, it adds character. And you can't have this album and not have this colour, can you? It's got to be on brand. And I'm so excited because I'm going to the After Hours tour next year. It's gonna be so good. John Mayer, Sob Rock, his most recent album. I've always been on the fence of John Mayer. I've known he's talented and I've always admired that, but I've never really liked any of his like albums in full. There's been like 2 songs per album I've enjoyed a lot, that I've had saved for years, but I've never enjoyed a John Mayer album. But this one, oh, there's just something about this. I know he's trolling and I know the marketing campaign is like this massive joke, but it is this Trojan horse like behind Sob Rock. Some really good songs. Last Train Home, what a great song, and the Maren Morris backing vocals are insane. So good. So good, so good. I like every song on here apart from Why You No Love Me. John, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are, what is that not, did you not take that one a little too far? Why You No Love Me? Really, come on, you're better than this. You know you're better than this. But besides that, it's a really good album, and I got the Coke bottle, or sorry, mint green version, which is really pleasant to look at. I feel like this video has a lot more of the colours than the last one. Let's spice things up a bit, eh? Ooh, this is a good one. Paolo Nutini, Caustic Love. Came out in 2014, I want to say. He disappears for years between albums. I miss him. Think about him daily. I wonder how he's doing. Are you in Scotland? Are you having a good time? Are you making music? If not, I understand. Yeah, great album, and it really showcases like his voice and how talented he is. I'll put a link below to a performance of a song called Iron Sky. Never seen anything like it. It's incredible. I don't know how any of his albums came out of him. I just don't know how. It's just incredible. Like, I can't even like give a quick review on it because it's just, it is what it is, and it all speaks for itself. I'll pick a favourite side. Side 1 is my favourite side. It's got Scream, Funk My Life Up, Let Me Down Easy, One Day and Numpty. Oh, those are great songs. And I also want to note that there's a song on here called Fashion with Janelle Monáe on it. Just royalty. Royalty and royalty together. Oh, I love the two of them so much. And speaking of which, Janelle Monáe, the Archandroid, correct me if I'm wrong. I've pronounced too many things incorrectly over the years, that just tell me. But it's her first album, it's the one with Cold War and Tyrope on it, so it was my first introduction to her stuff. Legend in the making. And with her first few releases, there was this overarching story, concept, I guess, called Metropolis. I would highly suggest listening to her music and reading up on it. I couldn't possibly describe what it's about in a soundbite. It's really high concept, even though it's mainly through the music and written down in some of the videos, but not really. Just great stuff. And it's just so impressive because how many artists these days, A, do a concept album, or B, a concept album over 2 albums and several EPs? No one. Like, no one. And I always say this, that Janelle Monáe is going to take over the world one day, and I'm definitely happy for that to happen. This was just the start of her career, and you just never know what she's going to do next, and I don't know how she keeps outdoing herself, but it's possible. And while we're here, I'm just going to say this on record, just in case it happens one day, but I'm desperate for the Electric Lady on vinyl. I think that's my favourite Janelle Monáe album. It's the one I don't have, and it's so hard to find for a decent price. It hurts me. I hope they repress it. Kicking it slightly old school for a sec, Joni Mitchell. How many people use the phrase kicking it and Joni Mitchell in the same sentence? For the Roses, this I found in a second-hand shop for like £5. And I like Joni Mitchell, but I still haven't deep dived into her yet. But this is the background album. Like, and I'm not saying ignore her. I'm not saying she's not good to listen to, because she is. I can have this and pay attention to it. But it's the perfect album to have on when you're getting ready. I don't know much of her other stuff yet. So if you have any recommendations, hit me up. But there's this calming, ethereal, almost like cinematic-y quality to this album. The way that I would describe this is it fills the room in a really quiet way. You can really see how she's influenced an artist I love called Clairo, and all the qualities I like about Clairo and Joni. So I should really listen to more of her stuff. So maybe I'll pick up some more records. And finally, because this could be 4 hours long, because I would enjoy that evening, to be honest, Harry Styles' Fine Line, because I'm building up my Taylor Swift's Exes collection. No, this is a great album, isn't it? It's a great album. The thing about this is it makes me want to listen to the Beatles. And like, when I got this, I obviously listened to a lot. I listened to this a hell of a lot. I listened to a lot of the Beatles after. It just got me back in, I don't know why. Of course there are influences, and of course this album's derivative to a point, but it's still a bloody good album. Because I would recommend this to those pretentious snobs who were like, I only listen to old music. I'd be like, have you heard the new Harry Styles album though? And they'd be like, oh, it's great. Eloquent conversation. My favourite songs, I really love Sunflower Volume 6. I love Canyon Moon and Treat Me With Kindness. That whole side is lovely. This is a really good vinyl. Yeah, it's a good quality pressing. No complaints. So yeah, that's another vinyl video complete. Okay, I was trying not to be too self-deprecating, but I'm sorry about my hair. I did wash it today, but it's doing its own thing. You know, one day it will look fine on camera. Today's not that day. But regardless, hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know if you ever listen to any artists I recommend, because that would be an honour. Or if there's anyone that you recommend for me to listen to, because that would also be great. I do need to listen to more Joni Mitchell. That'll be fun. So if you know your Joni Mitchell, let me know what to listen to. And yeah, you will see me in the next one. And in the meantime, get in touch, because we could chat for hours about this. And and look after yourself, your loved ones, and your pets. Bye.